Hey everybody, I'm Katrina Anderson and I am the Star Director for Empowering Sense Group. And before we get started, I wanted to just tell you a little bit about me. I've been doing Scentsy for almost 5 years now. I'm a stay-at-home mom to 5 kiddos and one fur baby. And I've been married to my husband, high school sweetheart, for over 20 years now. And we are a military family currently stationed in South Carolina at Fort Jackson. Today, we are going to be talking about being confident and excited in your business so that you can visualize those big picture goals. So grab your workbooks, write some of this stuff down if you want. First, I want you to tell me what makes you feel confident in your business. And you can pause this video whenever you need to. So what comes easy to you? What makes you say, oh yeah, I got this. I got this, easy peasy. What excites you? Like what gets your blood pumping? What gets you hyped up? Is it listening to certain podcasts, listening to trainings? Is it coming to events? One of my favorites is watching a new teamie, like it click for them to get it, where they have their aha moment when new people come in, and it's just all of that excitement and it rubs off on you, right? So what makes you literally happy dance? Who here happy dances? I do literally anytime that I get that new PWS, or even better, the new club subscriber email first thing in the morning. Who doesn't love making money while they sleep? Okay, am I right? So, and then I also like, what about word of mouth referrals and, really great customer reviews when people are like, oh, this is my Scentsy lady and you are going to love her. You have got to go through my Scentsy lady, right? So for me, planning things out and being prepared is what makes me feel the most confident in my business. Like, who doesn't want to feel like they have all of their stuff together, right? So that is what makes me feel the most confident. When you don't have everything figured out, and I'm not saying you need to know all the things, but I just mean planning out your month and like knowing what your month is going to look like, knowing what your business is going to look like for that month or even that week. Sometimes it's even what is your day going to look like, right? Again, 5 kids, crazy schedules here. Because when we don't know what the day is going to bring, when we don't know what our month or our week is going to look like, that can make you feel really overwhelmed. And as someone who has suffered burnout before, it is one of my goals to never ever want someone else to feel like that ever. So I want to help you figure out how to not be overwhelmed and to be confident in your business. So grab out your notebook again, and again, you can pause if you need to. I want you to write down what would make you feel confident in your Scentsy business. It doesn't have to be my reason, your reason. What's going to make you feel confident? Maybe like where your PRV is going to come from every month, so you don't have to stress about it, right? Knowing that you have an amazing customer base that's going to support you throughout your Scentsy journey. Maybe knowing that you can sponsor anyone that you want. What's going to make you feel confident in your Scentsy business, okay? So what steps do we need to take to feel confident in our business? First and foremost, we have to set a goal. We have to set goals. We have to set priorities. And honestly, we don't give up. We don't give up. And then my favorite part, wash, rinse, and repeat, y'all. Wash, rinse, and repeat. We do the same things in our business every single month, okay? So I want you to write down what your Scentsy goals are, okay? Only you can say what your goals are. Don't let anyone tell you your goals are too big or too small. Now, your director or your sponsor might push you to stretch your goals because they've been in your shoes already. So when I say no one can tell you that your goals are too small, it's just your director probably, or your sponsor wanting you to reach just a little bit further because they see something in you that you probably don't see in yourself yet, right? So maybe there is a goal paycheck for you. Maybe you're a leader and you want to have a certain team size. Do you want to earn annual sales, annual mentor? Maybe you want to pay off debt. Maybe you don't care about money and you are here for your community and you want to find the most ways to give back. Maybe you want to retire your spouse, quit your 9 to 5. Whatever your goals are, they are yours. So go ahead and take a few minutes and write down your goals. And I'm sorry, I talk with my hands a lot. So here comes the scary part, okay? I want you to go share your goals with someone. No, don't be too loud. You know, if there's a lot of people near you and you don't want to be, we don't want to be, too crazy with, I don't want you to go shouting from the rooftops. If you want to, you can, but I want you to go tell someone. I want you to text your sponsor, text your director right now and say, this is my big goal that I want to work towards this year. Tell your superstar director, tell your star director, go share on your director's team page, share on your team page if you're a director. Tell your spouse, your kids, your best friend, your accountability partner. Honestly, if there's someone right next to you right now, go tell them. Just share your goal with them right now, even if you don't know them, even if it's a complete stranger, tell them your goal. Because when we say our goals out loud, when we write them down, saying them out loud, it makes them real. It makes you hold accountability for yourself. You've said it out loud. You've told someone else besides yourself. So you can't change your mind now. There's no going back now. So when you finish watching this, I want you to grab a sticky note. It doesn't have to be fancy. You can do something digital on your phone or even something as simple as a Post-it note, okay? But I want you to put your goals somewhere that you can see them. So even if that's inside your closet when you get dressed every morning, on your mirror in the bathroom maybe, you can even put it on a Post-it note on your dashboard in your car if you're always in the car like me, okay? Driving around 5 kids all the time. I swear I live in my car. I personally have mine as the wallpaper on my phone, okay? Who doesn't? We live off of our phones. I personally do my business probably 90% off of my phone. So make it the wallpaper background of your phone somewhere that you're going to see it every day to remind you what your goals are and how you're going to work to make those goals a reality. All right. So you've got your goals set. How do we get there? How do we work to get there? Well, first of all, you've got to set priorities and figure out what I love to call non-negotiables. Your non-negotiables are things that no matter what, at the end of the day, I know that I need to get this, this, and this done. It can be one thing, it can be 2 things. I suggested not being more than 3 things. You're going to feel overwhelmed. Okay. Most of your non-negotiables, I'll give you a hint, those are the things that you normally put off to the last on your to-do list. If anybody here makes to-do lists, does anybody make to-do lists? Do you check things off? You do the easiest things first, right? I'm someone who I will put on my to-do list, make a to-do list just so I can cross it off. Okay. So the things that get left at the end of the day that you're just oh, I guess I'll do it tomorrow. Those are the things that you should be doing first, no matter what. Those are 9 times out of 10, those are what your non-negotiables need to be. Okay. There's 3 different areas of your business that you need to have non-negotiables in. And that's super easy. It's your PRV, your sales, your sponsoring, and then your training and coaching. And whether you have a team or not, you can still be training on your director's team page, okay? You can still be working one-on-one with your accountability partner, all right? So these are things, and go ahead, feel free to write these down, pause the video if you need to, and tell me what are your non-negotiables. They're different for everyone. If you talk to most successful people, In Scentsy, they will tell you normally it's 2K PRV a month. We want to shoot for high PRV, 2 new teamies a month, 2 new club subscribers a month, and excuse me, and then training a certain amount of times for their team. But right now, I just want to know from you, write down, what is your non-negotiable, like what's your PRV that you know I have to have this amount of PRV every month, or I want this amount of PRV every month, and I'm not going to stop working until this is my bare minimum. Okay, your non-negotiables are your bare minimums. They're not your maximums, they're your bare minimums. How many parties do you want to have booked every month? Okay, I tell my team, shoot for 4, shoot for 4. If you don't hit it, it's okay. Just don't stop working until you do get there. If you do already do 4, add 2 more to it. But 1 a week is a really good start for especially our essential and our certified, all the new people, okay? And how many new club subscribers would you love to have every month? Are you sharing club as often as you need to be for people to know? Y'all, listen, isn't it something like something has to be shared like 7 times for it to click for someone? Isn't that crazy? So that means, honestly, I could probably be telling you something right now that your director or your sponsor has already told you several times, but maybe hearing it today, it might click for you. Or maybe not, who knows? Maybe this is only time 3. So now you're sponsoring. What is your bare minimum? How many conversations do you want to have every month? How many joint conversations do you want to have? How many new teamies would you like to have? What's your non-negotiable every month? What about reinstates? Y'all, they can come back for free. Who's a reinstate? Raise your hand. All right. So, and then training. If you're a leader, how many trainings would you like to provide for your director's page, or if you're a director, for your team page every month? Once a week, we do a little something called Tip Tuesday, Training Tuesday, or Tip Thursday, Training Thursday. Commit to doing 1 thing a week, maybe. How many teamies would you like to work with one-on-one every month? And now, if you're not a leader, I don't want you to completely skip over this. First of all, if you are just an essential or certified, I'm sorry, not just, if you are a certified or an essential consultant, you can still train on your director's page. How many times are you willing to share, to go live maybe for your director's team, because that's your team too? How many, maybe do you have a goal to read a book? I personally have a goal to read 1 book a month. I'm sure to some book lovers, they can read, 12 books in 1 month. But right now, my life is so crazy that I'm just trying to commit to 1 book that can help me personally and help my business once a month. Or maybe you like to listen to podcasts. How many podcasts do you want to listen to? Or do you want to make it a goal, a mini habit maybe, to listen to 30 minutes of a podcast every day? Okay, set these non-negotiables, and these are things that no matter what, at the end of the day, I need to get them done. No matter what, at the end of the month, I need to get them done. Because again, some of these things are not daily things, they're just monthly. And we're going to get more into that in a second. So I don't want to step on any toes here, but everything else in your business is extra. Okay. So I don't want you to go, but Katrina, what about follow-ups? What about, reaching out to my customers? No, that comes next. Those are our IPAs, income producing activities. Okay. There's a lot of controversy, I feel like, in our community when it comes to what an income producing activity is. So please don't riot when I tell you this. An income producing activity is an activity that you do that once you've completed it, produces income, period. If you do something and it does not produce income, it was not an IPA, all right? And again, these are typically the things that you don't want to do, all right? So take a few minutes and write down in your workbook what you think some IPAs that you do in your business are, okay? And then I want you to take a few minutes and write down what you think is fluff or things that people think are IPAs, but they're really not. And then we're going to talk about it, okay? So pause the video and then come back. So some examples of IPAs, income producing activities: having conversations with people, booking conversations, intentionally offering the join kits or the opportunity, and keeping track of those conversations. Y'all, if you are not keeping track of who you are talking to, it's just going to make you seem like you don't know what you're doing and you don't have your stuff together. And what did I say at the beginning of this? We want to feel prepared for our business. We want to know what is coming in our business. So we want to know, oh, I've already talked to Sarah last month, and she told me to reach back out to her in 2 months. So I'm not going to reach out to Sarah next month. I'm going to wait another month. Okay. You don't want to be that person who does follow-ups. That's another IPA. Follow-ups are always an IPA. Again, that is a conversation with someone. It doesn't have to be in person. It can be a text. If you have a drip campaign, however you do your follow-ups. I know a lot of us are scrambling this year to find a new follow-up system that works for us. And guess what, you guys? That's the beauty of this business, is we can use anyone's systems, make our own, and find what works for us. But you want to keep track so that when you do, say, your follow-ups, for example, that you aren't reaching out to the same person every single month for a party, okay? We don't want to be asking the same people. We want to be expanding our customer base, all right? Flipping hosts, actively flipping our hosts and not just not offering that kit to them. Those are IPAs. And being consistent in your communications. So for example, I send weekly emails to my customers. Those are IPAs because you 9 times out of 10 see an order placed after you send those emails, okay? Also, if you're doing any of these things, share them with your team so that you can make it easily replicatable for them to be successful too. So now here's the part that's probably going to upset a few people, but here's some examples of fluff, non-income producing activities. I'm just going to get the big one over with. Making and handing out samples is not an income producing activity. I know, settle down, but it's not. Okay, making all the cute samples and packaging them up all cute and whatever you do and spending all day making samples and you feel like I worked so much today. No, you didn't. You didn't. The IPA is actually in the follow-up. It does not become income producing until you do the follow-up. If you are just passing out samples, if you are just making samples and not even passing them out, you've wasted time and money. If you are passing them out to people, but you don't have information to follow up with them on, you are literally throwing away money and wasting your time. Okay, the IPA is in the follow-up. Please don't hate me. Making cute flyers and graphics. Don't recreate the wheel. First of all, we have amazing flyer groups on Facebook. The marketing tab of the workstation. I love to search Pinterest, Google, but honestly, the best thing you can do is every time an order comes into your house, take real life pictures. Real life pictures will always go way farther than any flyer can go. I promise you. Happy Meal. This is customer service. And while yes, it is very important, it is not an IPA. The IPA comes when you follow up on that Happy Meal, okay? Scheduling posts and sharing to social media. You can spend an hour once a month scheduling your posts and again, think I was so productive today. I scheduled all my posts. That is not income producing. It's not. The income producing activity is in the follow-up on the comments of those posts, okay? Watching trainings and not implementing anything, not trying a new system, taking all the notes in the world isn't going to improve your business if you don't implement something that you learned. You don't have to take everything from a training, but take something from a training, okay? Remember that successful people do what successful people do. Write that down. Successful people do what successful people do. So even though I just told you that all of that fluff, that they aren't income producing, does that mean that you shouldn't be doing them? Absolutely not. Those are all things that you should be doing. You should be watching trainings. You should be scheduling your posts because it saves you time. You should be consistently sharing to social media, and you should definitely be looking for new images to use, creating new images to use, and making samples. Because we all know that if people can't smell it, they won't buy it, okay? I'm not saying that you shouldn't do those things, but what I am saying is they shouldn't hold a priority over your non-negotiables. So let's talk about some examples, all right? So like when you make your to-do list and you have all these things that you need to do, before you make those scent of the month samples, how many parties do you have booked this month? What does your PRV look like? I'm being honest. Tell me now, how many parties do you have booked right now? Okay. You should probably, unless you have, your PRV completely squared away for this month, which congratulations if you do, but if you don't, you should maybe consider doing a personal, or get your team in on it, but a personal booking blitz. Go figure out where your PRV is going to come from this month before you sit down to make samples, okay? How many join conversations have you had this month? Who here keeps track of their join conversations already? I'm really proud of you if you have, but if you haven't, know that it's okay, and that it is as simple as using a notebook, okay? It doesn't have to be a fancy system. It's just, these are the people I've talked to, okay? And this was the outcome of our conversation. But how many people have you offered the join conversation with? And I don't mean cold messaging people and saying, hey, have you ever thought about doing what I do? No, I mean like just building connections with people and learning that, man, I really wish I had extra money for my kids to be able to do fall sports this year. Well, hey, girl, you know that you can totally do what I do. Have you ever thought about that? Like, I can show you, I would be there with you along the way. Conversations like that come very organically and naturally, and not cold messaging. All right. So how do we turn, I'm sorry, I'm looking at notes, I apologize. How do we turn our priorities and these non-negotiables into a reality? Let me tell you, y'all, time management is your friend. Time management is your best friend. Who here struggles? I am on the struggle bus. I'm probably driving it with time management. Okay, I was, at least until I started doing what I'm about to tell you. So the best advice that I ever got was from my superstar director. And she told us, I was a director at the time, and she told us, I want to know what you do every day for your business. So she said, I just want you to keep track. I kept track on my phone, on my notes app, of literally anything I did that day for my business. Keep track of everything. From there, at the end of the month, you are going to see what days you were super hyper focused and what days you maybe weren't. And that's okay. We don't have to work every day. Good Lord, no, that is one of the best things about this business. But what you do get to see is all of the areas that you did focus on and all of the things that you didn't focus on. It's a huge self-reflection to look back and see what you've done all month long. It's there in black and white. It is not a lie, right? You're the one that made the list. So it's a really big reality check. So what I want you to do is, once you've made that list of everything that you've done, you're going to group things up and go, what of these things do I need to do at the beginning of the month, the middle of the month, and the end of the month? Certain things like, sharing the new whiff box, sharing the scent and warmer of the month. That comes at the beginning of the month. Mid-month, if you're a leader, we normally do mid-month, shout outs. End of the month, we watch EOM live, things like that. Then break it down a little bit further. What things, is there anything that you do every week? Maybe not necessarily on the same day, but you know that you do certain things once a week. Like, don't save your follow-ups for the end of the month. Break them down and do them once a week. Some people like to do their thank yous once a week. Some people like to do a booking blitz with their team, or a personal booking blitz once a week. Some people like to schedule out their posts for the week. Y'all, I tried to schedule out my posts, by the way, for once a month at the beginning of the month. That's a lot. It is so like, ooh, it's so draining. I like to do the scheduling of posts out for the week. Setting up your parties for the coming week. Those are things that you do every week. And then I want you to look at what things you do on the daily for your business. Let me tell you something, that list right there needs to be the shortest list. If your daily list is longer than your weekly list, you need to reevaluate, okay? You're doing too much and you're gonna get overwhelmed. And I don't want you to be overwhelmed. Some things that you should be doing daily: checking your workstation, the news tab, reports if you're a leader, seeing how close people are to promotion, seeing how close you are to a promotion, checking the incentive tab, the news tab, okay? Recording your numbers, you should be doing that every day, whether you do it in the morning or do it at night. And then checking your director's team page, checking your page if you're a director or above, okay? Really, you shouldn't be doing more than that outside of maybe having a daily conversation with someone, a daily booking conversation, a daily sponsoring conversation, and a daily club conversation. Besides that, and then the rest of it is just networking, okay? If you're like me and you need to put that on your to-do list, though, you totally can. But your daily list shouldn't be very long. So now that you have your daily and weekly and monthly tasks, know that you're gonna find your groove, okay? You're gonna tweak it. It's gonna take you a few months to figure things out. I personally, I'm a stay-at-home mom, guys. And you would think that that means I have all the time in the world, right? No. I don't. I'm constantly picking kids up. Y'all, my kids are 17, 14, 11, 10, and almost 1. So I have a huge age range, and we have a dog, and my husband's in the military. Yeah, it's crazy here. Sometimes I like to do the bulk of my work for my business on the weekends over the course of 2 days, because my husband is home to help with the house. My big kids are home to help with their siblings. And normally I can knock out a lot of stuff on the weekends. And then there's other months when I really just want the weekends to myself, right? Or I want it for family time, whatever works for you. But like on the days that like I really like to get my stuff done over the weekend, then I have more time during the week to be present with my family. And that's just something that I found that works for me. Just remember, what works for me might not work for you, but try different things. No one says that you have to work 9 to 5 every single day. That is one of the beautiful things of this business, of being an independent Scentsy consultant, is that you get to make the rules. You get to decide when you work, but you do have to work, okay? You do have to work. Communicate with your family or your team or whoever needs to hear it. Just say it out loud, even if it's only to yourself in the shower in the morning. I am going to work my business from this time to this time today. This is what I'm doing. Communicate it though with your family, like I said, so that they know. And it's not like a, hey, don't bother mommy, because I am a huge advocate in getting your family involved with your business, so that when you are working your Scentsy business, no one is resenting your business, okay? Get your kids involved, your spouse involved. I'm very grateful that I have a very involved family and spouse with my business. It's our business, not mine. Find an accountability partner to literally hold you accountable. This is someone that you can text every day or whenever and go, what are we doing today? How are we working? How are you working? What are you doing? Because I need to know, how many parties do you have? Dude, how many conversations have you had? Like, how many joint combos have you had this month? How many joint combos have you had this week? what are you going to go live about? Oh, I like that. Maybe I'll go live about that on my director's page. Your accountability partner does not need to be someone on your team. It doesn't even need to be someone even anywhere in your director or superstar director's lineage. It can be someone that you meet here at SFR, World Tour, or SFR. Sorry, you guys. We're just going to chalk that up to mom brain. It can be someone that you meet at an event. It can be someone that you maybe connected with over a Facebook group. There's tons of them to connect with people. Maybe it's someone local to you that's on a completely different team. It's okay. We don't compete with each other. We compete with ourselves. The only person that you should ever compare yourself to, by the way, is who you were yesterday. That's it. So you just want to know what's working for you. This is what's working for me. How can we help each other? I love having accountability partners. So once you've figured out what you need to do, where are you finding the time? Katrina, I am so busy. Like, I work from this time to this time. As soon as I get home, I have to make dinner, and then it's bath time, bedtime. I get it. I get it. I promise. We are all busy. I'm not saying that my time is more important than yours. Yours is not more important than mine. We all have things going on. You are going to literally find whatever works for you. Whatever works for you. What does that look like? Maybe it's waking up a little bit early. Maybe it means staying up a little bit later. Maybe it means only working your business in 15-minute increments, which is totally doable. Maybe it's doing follow-ups in the car pickup line when you go to get your kids at school. Maybe it's setting alarms on your phone. Does anybody do that? My husband is one of those people. I'm calling you out, babe. He's one of those people that has the 6:30, 6:37, 6:42, 6:45, those alarms. Who does that? Crazy people. But if that works for you, then that works for you. Maybe it's working on the weekends, like I said, I do. But the whole point of it is instead of saying, I don't have time, don't hate me for this. Instead of saying, I don't have time, say it's not a priority for me. And that's 100% okay. It's not meant to be ugly, by the way, at all. This is for you to self-reflect on where and what your priorities actually are, okay? So it's okay to say, I don't have time for this right now. I don't have time. For me, I will give you an example. I didn't have time to bring back my bar samples this go around. It was not a priority for me. I'm okay with myself with saying it was not a priority for me. My priorities were elsewhere in my business, working on my PRV and my current parties and having my sponsoring conversations and training my team. My priorities were elsewhere, and it's okay to say that. But you do have to be honest with yourself. When you say, I can't make that meeting because it's bedtime for my kids, I don't have time for that. But I have other people that sit in on our meetings who are snuggling with their kids, but they have an AirPod in their ear. Or there are people, you don't have to have your camera on, by the way. I don't require my team to have their camera on with team meetings. Our virtual ones? No, why? But that's just an example. Other examples would be like, well, I don't have any parties this month because I don't have time to ask anybody. Okay, so booking parties and having PRV and therefore getting a paycheck in this business is not a priority for you. You have to be comfortable with saying that to yourself, because that's the problem. The problem is not that no one wants to come to you to party, it's that you don't want to offer it to people. You have to be honest with yourself, okay, guys? I'm not saying it to be ugly. I'm saying it because you need self-reflection, okay? Just remember that the whole goal of planning out your week and then your month is so that you are prepared and you know what is happening in your business. Because when you're prepared, you're confident. You're confident in your business. When you know what your month is going to look like, when you know where your PRV is going to come from, and you know, I'm going to talk to 30 people this month. I'm going to have a joint conversation every single day. I want 2 new teamies this month. Or you know what? My cousin she's been on the fence about coming back, and I'm gonna call her right now, and I'm gonna tell her, hey, girl, reinstate for free. Come back. You can do this. When you are prepared, you are confident. And when you're confident, you can wash, rinse, and repeat so that you can make this replicatable and pass it along to someone else who's needing more structure in their business. So I'm going to flip this a little bit for you. Those who can do should teach. That to me is the true definition of knowing how to do something successfully, is being able to show someone else how to replicate it. You have to be willing to try, at least try to find something that works for you. You can tweak anyone's systems. No one says that you have to make things, do things a certain way. Stay within compliance. Know that your director is probably guiding you from past experience, but just try and tweak whatever you can. So now that you've got your outline of managing your time and making priorities and setting your goals, I really do hope that you can focus on these tasks, these non-negotiables, and your priorities that are going to make the biggest impact in your Scentsy business. And hopefully it helps you stay on track with your big picture goal. All right, I hope you guys learned something. It was really great chatting with you. And that's it. Bye, guys.